Someone is thinking about you right now in a way they cannot escape, and the reason is not what most people would expect. It is not because you chased them. It is not because you begged, pleaded, explained, or tried to force a place in their life. It is because you stopped. You got quiet. You pulled your energy back. You stopped giving your heart to someone who treated it like it would always be there. And that one shift changed everything. Stay with me, because this is not just about love. It is about power. It is about what happens when the person who was always available suddenly becomes unreachable in spirit. They may still see your name. They may still remember your voice. But the access they once had to your warmth, your patience, your understanding, that access is gone, and now they feel it deeply. If this message found you today, there is a reason. Something in you already knows this story is connected to your life. Maybe you have been feeling strange lately. Maybe a memory came back out of nowhere. Maybe you felt their energy in a quiet moment and could not explain why. Watch closely through every word, because what is happening behind the scenes matters more than any text they send, more than any post they make, and more than any excuse they may try to give later. What changed was simple. You finally chose yourself. And the moment you did, the emotional ground beneath them started to shake. There was a time when you gave more than you should have. You were the one trying to keep things steady. You were the one filling the silence, fixing the tension, making sense of mixed signals, and carrying hope long after it should have been set down. You may not have called it sacrifice back then. You may have called it love. You may have told yourself that if you were patient enough, calm enough, loyal enough, eventually they would understand your worth. But then something inside you got tired. Not dramatic, not loud, just tired in a deep and honest way. You stopped talking so much about what hurt. You stopped repeating yourself. You stopped trying to convince someone to care the way you cared, and that quiet decision did more than any argument ever could. Because when a person thinks you will always stay, they get careless. They stop protecting the bond. They stop noticing your effort. They stop treating your love like something alive and precious. They act as if they can come back whenever they want and find you exactly where they left you. But when you pulled back, they came face to face with a truth they never planned to meet. You were not permanent by force. You were there by choice, and now that choice has changed. Keep listening, because this is where most people misunderstand what silence really does. Silence is not empty. Silence reveals. Silence exposes. Silence makes the truth louder than words ever could. At first, they may have tried to explain your distance away. They told themselves you were busy. They assumed you needed a day or two. They believed your softness would return the moment they reached out with half effort, half charm, half truth. But time kept moving. Your energy stayed different. The old version of you, the one who rushed in to fix everything, did not appear. That is when confusion began, not because they stopped caring, but because they started feeling the weight of what they lost. People often notice value only after access is removed. It is a painful lesson, but a real one. The attention you used to give them made them feel important. The comfort you offered made them feel safe. The way you understood them made them feel seen, even when they could not fully see themselves. When that disappeared, they did not just miss a person. They missed the emotional shelter your presence created. Now the days feel flatter. Conversations with others feel thinner. Even distractions do not work the same way anymore. They may laugh in public and act normal on the outside, but quiet hours tell the truth. Late at night, early in the morning, in the short space between one thought and the next, your absence enters the room. And when absence carries meaning, it becomes louder than presence ever was. If you have felt them in your mind lately, if old memories have been hitting harder than usual, that does not always mean you should go back. Sometimes it simply means the bond was real, and real bonds leave echoes when they break. What hurts them most is not just that you left or stepped back. It is how you did it. You did not try to destroy them. You did not turn bitter. You did not start a war. You did not become cold just to prove a point. You simply chose dignity. You chose calm. You chose self-respect. And that kind of distance is powerful because it gives them no easy story to hide behind. If you had screamed, they could say you were too emotional. If you had begged, they could say you were too dependent. If you had chased, they could say you were too attached. But you did something they were not ready for. You let go with grace. You step back without chaos, and that leaves a person alone with themselves, alone with their patterns, alone with the truth of how they handled someone who loved them deeply. That is why your silence is unsettling them. It is forcing reflection. It is making them ask questions they avoided while you were still near. Why did they wait so long? Why did they keep assuming you would stay? Why did they take your loyalty as a guarantee instead of a gift? These are not comfortable questions. They sting. And when those answers begin to rise, feelings can become intense very fast. What they are feeling may look like obsession. It may feel like panic. It may show up as sudden curiosity, random checking, hesitation, regret. But do not mistake intensity for maturity. Strong feelings do not always mean strong character. Missing you is not the same as being ready for you. That is the part many people need to hear more than once. Someone can think about you constantly and still not know how to love you well. Someone can feel your absence in every quiet moment and still lack the courage to change. Someone can realize your worth too late and still try to come back in the same old form. So if they return, do not let emotion alone convince you. Watch what has changed. Watch what is different when no one is watching them. Watch whether they speak clearly now. Watch whether their actions carry weight. Watch whether they can hold the truth without running from it. Because if you rush back just because they finally feel the loss, you may interrupt the very lesson they need to learn. Distance is doing a job right now that your words could never do. Your old explanations did not wake them up. Your endless patience did not wake them up. Your pain did not wake them up, but your absence did. That is why you must not break your own boundary just to rescue them from discomfort. Let them sit with it. Let them feel the emptiness they helped create. Let them understand what it means when someone loving, loyal, and real stops overextending themselves. This is not cruelty. This is clarity, and clarity is often the beginning of real change. So breathe, stay grounded, and keep listening, because there is something even deeper happening here that you need to understand before you decide what comes next. When you were still giving too much, they had the luxury of delay. They could avoid choosing. They could avoid speaking honestly. They could drift, disappear, return, give mixed effort, and trust that your heart would still be open. That kind of comfort can make a careless person feel powerful, but it was never true power. It was borrowed access. It depended on your willingness to keep showing up at your own expense. The second you stopped doing that, the balance changed. Suddenly, they could not predict you. Suddenly, they could not assume your patience would cover the distance. Suddenly, they had to face the possibility that life could move on without them at the center of your world. And few things shake the ego more than realizing the person you undervalued is becoming peaceful without you. They may be asking themselves questions they never had to ask before. Are you moving on? Are you talking to someone new? Have you finally seen them clearly? Is it too late? Should they reach out? What if you do not answer the same way anymore? This is why they hesitate. Not because they feel nothing, but because feeling something now comes with risk. To contact you means they must step toward truth. It means they must face what they ignored. It means they must approach a version of you that is no longer willing to settle for, almost. And that is terrifying for anyone who got comfortable receiving love without giving enough back. You should also know this. The connection feels stronger now because your energy is no longer chasing theirs. When you were always reaching, always worrying, always trying to make the bond work, your mind was crowded. Their mind was not. You were carrying the emotional movement for both of you, but once you stopped, once the pressure of constant effort left your body, the space changed. You became quieter inside. That quiet can feel strange at first. It can even feel lonely. You may mistake peace for emptiness because chaos was once so familiar. But this calm is not loss. It is alignment. It is your life making room for truth. And from that place, you are easier to feel. Not because you are doing more, but because you are no longer blocking your own energy with fear. This is why they may suddenly be dreaming about you, remembering details, replaying moments, comparing everyone else to what you were. They are no longer distracted by your constant reaching. Now they are left with memory. And memory can be brutal when it arrives after clarity. They remember your kindness, your patience, the way you noticed what others missed, the way you stayed gentle even when you were hurting, the way your love felt safe without being fake. That kind of presence is not easy to replace. And once it is gone, a person begins to understand that not every connection can be rebuilt just because they finally miss it. Some doors do not slam. They simply close with peace, and that is often harder to accept. If they do reach out, it may not come in a grand way. It may be small at first. A short message, a casual question, a quiet attempt to test whether your heart still opens on command. Be careful there. Small contact can carry big intentions. Sometimes they are sincere, sometimes they are simply checking whether access still exists. This is why your strength matters now more than ever. You do not have to be cruel, you do not have to play games, you do not have to punish, but you do need to stay awake. A person who misses your comfort may return before they are actually ready to offer you the care you deserved from the start. They may want relief from guilt, relief from loneliness, relief from the emptiness your absence created. But your job is not to remove consequences from their choices. Your job is to protect the peace you fought hard to find. So if they come back, do not just listen to their words, feel the energy behind them. Is there depth now, or only urgency? Is there accountability, or only emotion? Is there effort, or only nostalgia? Because nostalgia is not commitment. Regret is not consistency. Desire is not transformation. And you are no longer meant to return to places where your love must carry everything. Let them prove they can meet you in truth. Let them show they can stand in the discomfort of growth. If they cannot, then missing you is just another feeling they will have to learn from without your help. And that is okay. Maybe part of you still wonders if you were too hard on them. Maybe part of you worries that stepping back made you cold, selfish, or unfair. But ask yourself honestly what staying was doing to you. Were you becoming more peaceful or more anxious? Were you becoming more yourself or less? Were you feeling cherished or simply tolerated? Love is not supposed to make you disappear. It is not supposed to train you to accept crumbs and call them hope. It is not supposed to leave you exhausted from carrying two hearts while pretending it feels romantic. You stepped back because something inside you knew that continuing the same pattern would cost too much. Your confidence, your sleep, your joy, your self-respect. And when a person finally chooses themselves after a long season of emotional overgiving, it can feel unfamiliar. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Sometimes the healthiest choice feels strange because you were used to surviving, not being at peace. So if sadness still visits you, let it. If memories still come, let them pass through. Grief does not mean you made the wrong decision. It often means you cared deeply and finally stopped betraying yourself. That is a brave thing, a rare thing. And whether they return or not, the version of you that now understands this truth cannot go fully back to the old way. You have seen what happens when your heart is offered without boundaries. You know better now. And because you know better, your life will change. There is also something beautiful happening inside you that you may not fully see yet. You are becoming harder to manipulate and easier to love, harder to confuse and easier to trust, harder to delay and easier to recognize. Why? Because you are no longer asking love to prove your worth. You are no longer begging to be chosen. You are no longer shaping yourself into what someone else can handle. That changes the way you move, the way you speak, the way you enter a room, even the way you leave one. People can feel when someone has stopped chasing approval. It creates a quiet gravity. It creates presence. And that presence often awakens strong reactions in those who once had easy access to you. They sense that you are no longer paused, no longer waiting, no longer building your life around what they may or may not do. That is why they feel shaken. You are becoming unavailable to the old dynamic. You are no longer feeding it with overthinking, overgiving, or over-explaining. Instead, you are standing still inside your truth. And truth has a force of its own. So if they are feeling the loss now, let them feel it. If they are replaying memories, let them replay them. If they are seeing your value clearly for the first time, let that clarity do its work. You do not need to interrupt the process. You do not need to manage what they feel. Your only job is to stay loyal to the peace you are building. And trust me, that peace is building something bigger than a text back. It is building a new standard. The truth is, not every deep connection is meant to become a lasting relationship. Some bonds enter your life to wake you up. Some people show you where you abandon yourself. Some stories reach your heart not so they can stay forever, but so they can reveal what you must never settle for again. That does not make the bond fake. It does not make the feelings meaningless. It simply means the lesson may have been larger than the future. And if that is what this was, then your healing